This is Shel C from Paper Octio Studio with November 29th's NoNoJouMo page. I'm using a place in my book that is kind of an in-between place. I'm never sure if I should use both of those together or because there's that separation I should only use one. But I'm just going to use this one side with this really cool print that I love, and I'm going to do a very quick page because I'm not feeling very well. The theme for today is coffee, but because I don't drink coffee unless I'm at a coffee shop, at home I drink tea, not coffee, I decided to make my page about tea. So the first thing that I did was to draw a teacup and saucer. I don't actually drink my tea with a saucer. I drink it in a mug, but you know, we're trying to go for the idea of a teacup. So I'm drawing it on a piece of old manila folder. I have a whole stack of these used folders that I got from somewhere, and I cut them to make my altered tags usually, because a shipping tag is just manila cardstock just like on a folder, so I cut my own and make altered tags out of them. So I drew it with my graphite pencil and then cut it out, as you can see. I do adjust somewhat my drawings even as I'm cutting. You'll see me like cut a little bit here, a little bit there to try to make it more even and balanced. I do that a lot. And I'm going to be putting this on my page, so I'm going to have to color it. The first thing I do is get some vintage photo distress ink and an ink applicator and just sponge around the edges just to give it kind of a antiqued feel. The colors of the page, the reason I use the vanilla cardstock is because white would have just been too white. So I'm really going for browns and tans and those type of colors on this project to go with the print. And I'm even going to try to mimic some of the patterns on the print because it's really just a gorgeous print. I kind of wished I'd put it in the middle so that I would have had the whole page of it, but I didn't, so this is the way it is. I got out a dark brown Inktense pencil. Remember, the Inktense are water soluble until they're dry, and I'm using it to do intensify my lines on my cup and then to shadow some more later. And then I'm going to make this a fancy coffee cup, so I get out some PBO Dyna gold paint and I'm doing the little handle on the cup and the edge of the saucer and things like that with a little bit of what would be, I guess, gold leafing on the cup. I'm not sure if it's actually gold, but you know what I'm talking about. A fancy one. And I'm just putting it around all the edges of everything because it's pretty. And then I have a couple of Decoarts mixed media colors, and I'm going to paint a design onto the cup because little teacups usually have some type of flowers or something on them or little designs. The fancier ones do. So I'm mimicking that red leafy looking thing that's on the print using a similar color. It's not exactly the same, I don't think, but it's very similar. And just making those long leaf shapes. And then I'm going to use the green gold, which is similar to a color on the print, and kind of make some vines going in between. Having a little trouble with my brush. It has one little bristle that's not in line with the other ones, and it's making me have these little extra lines that are bothering me, but I get through it. So that's done. I put a little bit of tea in the cup, and then I have a lot of different things that I just collected out of my box that I'm going to be putting on the page. This is just a piece of washi tape. I don't like that edge where it didn't get cut off when I was doing the cutting. We've discussed that before, how I made this book and why there's sometimes white edges on the edges, which bother me. So I'm just putting the washi tape over it, and I'm afraid it won't stick down because it's not that tacky, so I put a little bit of tacky glue underneath it. This is the saying. This is a very popular saying that a lot of people have on different tea-related items. And all I did was print it with my inkjet printer in brown. I'm not doing black on this page. It's just all different types of brown. Even that Harlequin design on the washi tape is brown. And then those little cutouts, flower cutouts, were sent to me by a friend during a swap. Her name is Gerda Franks, and she sent me those. And they're not in English, so don't worry if you can't read it because they're not in English. I wished I had more. It's really cool to put other languages on my pages, even if I can't read them. At least there's not some weird word that pops out at you. Something like that happened on another project where I think it said something like I'm getting drunk or I am drunk, and I didn't notice. It was just, a page torn out from a novel. And then someone said to me later, "Did you realize that that says something about being drunk on it?" I'm like, "No, I didn't realize that," because to me it's just an element. It's not I'm not worried about what it says because I'm just looking at the graphic design of what it looks like, so I never even read it. So having a nice text there that I can't read at all is really good. I'm sure if that is your language and you see something bad in it, I'm sorry, but I wouldn't ever know. So this is Liquitex liquid matte medium that I'm using to attach everything. It's going to have a very matte finish, and I'm using my beat up brush to attach it. This little pressed chipboard dove I got from somebody in a swap. I have no idea who, because I get all these little bits of things to use, and I just put them in a snap plastic thing, and then a day like this would be a day that I go and try to find something because I didn't have that much energy to do my page, so I went looking for things, and it's a dove of peace, and so it kind of fits the quote. If you can't sit down over a cup of tea and talk about it and resolve the problem, then there might actually be a serious problem. In yesterday's video, I think it was, I was talking about having a horizon line or a ground. This already has it because of that extra little bit of red on the print. It was like an instant ground, so the teacup has something to sit on. The hardest part of this whole project was getting this stupid piece of cord stuck. I cut a little place by the rim of the teacup to put it in, but it wouldn't go in, it wouldn't stay down, and so I unstuck the cup and did it again, and then when I went to put the little tea tag thing on, I had just as much trouble. This took longer than anything on this. Was just putting the little tag on the, that would be on a tea bag. I think I'm just going to call it a tea tag. I don't know what exactly it is, but you know what I'm talking about. So that was my biggest struggle right there. You can see in the video, it just keeps going and going. So I did use the Inktense pencil for all the shading that you'll be seeing me doing. I didn't add anything else. I just really wanted to use that dark espresso brown color for all my shading and everything. After I get the stem tag down, then we'll see me doing that. Those little flowers, they're from Recollections at Michael's. I have a sack of all different types of little craft punched out flowers, and I just grabbed a couple of those because they were craft colored and they matched my little dove. The dove is embossed. It's like, it's pressed, and so I did add color to it. You probably saw me do that. The same colors from my palette that are the Decoarts mixed media fluid acrylics, just to make it stand out a little bit. Now I'm doing the shading, and I'm just going around things with my Inktense brown pencil and blending them just like you would with a Stabilo. Only this one, when it's dry, it doesn't run anymore. That's the difference. And I go around the outer edge and darken that up too. and just around the major elements on the page. Trying to make them blend in and also stand out at the same time. And around the design on the teacup, just to give it a little bit more dimension. And we're about done. This was a very quick page. A lot of pre-done elements. Kind of like scrapbooking a little bit, where you put a lot of different things together. And then these are brown sequins. I know, weird. Brown sequins. I got them in a set from the dollar store that has all different autumn colors. And I put an extra one. I put them in the middle of the flowers, but then I put an extra one because I felt like it needed 3 rather than just 2. And then this is just my white Posca fine tip, adding a little bit of highlight here and there. A little bit of lightness to lighten things up. Kind of in a very sketchy way. I'm not making solid lines at all. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, leave me a comment. If you haven't done so, go ahead and like or subscribe, all those things. And here's the close-ups. Thanks. Bye-bye.